What's wrong, Daz? Why are you looking so glum?
I don't know. The new Nintendo Direct was good and all, but I'm just a bit disappointed.
Are you kidding? They announced a Mario Maker 2, the new Zelda remake, and a new Pokemon! How are you not happy?
I know, and they're great. They're just not really my kind of thing.
Oh, I get it. You're one of those fans who can never be satisfied, no matter what Nintendo do, huh? Right?
I just want Pikmin 4, okay?
Well, it's not gonna happen, Daz. You can either accept the good games that are coming, or you can just whine about whatever Nintendo is supposedly doing wrong.
Alright, so I love Nintendo, and the new Nintendo Direct was a good one, I must admit, but a lot of it just was not my thing. I don't have time for 20 JRPGs, and though I don't really want to be such a negative Nancy, I think we should try to keep our expectations of games grounded. This year in particular seems to be the year of Nintendo sequels, with Luigi's Mansion 3, the new Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Bayonetta 3, Mario Maker 2, and now Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I figured before I unknowingly disappoint myself next Direct with over-the-top expectations, I'd take a look back on some of the sequels that perhaps weren't so grand. Not to be grumbly, but just as a cautious warning. Also, the new Pokemon Direct came out, which is just, boringly safe and simple. Maybe I'll mention more about it next week or something. Regardless, let's go in now with Nintendo's top 10 disappointing sequels. It's a Super Mario Bros. What an iconic game. Everyone loves. Oh, Super Mario Bros. 2. Look at it go. All these characters to choose from, and oh, Super Mario Bros. 3. It's all on a stage, and listen to that sound design. Super Mario World. Look at those 16-bit graphics. We got the Yoshi and whatever else they've introduced to this series. New Super Mario Bros. What a comeback title after 16 years of nothing. Oh. New Super Mario Bros. Wii! Helicopter hats! Yeah, I can get behind that. New Super Mario Bros. 2! Coins! Cool! New Super Mario Bros. U! Woo! New Super Luigi U! New Super Mario Bros. U! Deluxe. We got crowned. It's common knowledge these days that the new Super Mario series has lost its fresh appeal, with each title's use of new getting more and more ironic. But NSMBUD really is the cream of the crop, taking as minimal an approach to the next game as possible, if you'd even call it a sequel. It's a port of the Wii U version with the additional Luigi U DLC attached. All previous characters appear, level designs seem to be mostly the same. The only real change is the introduction of Toadette and the Super Crown, which does not interact with anyone else other than Toadette. It's got a full price tag and really loves the idea of rewarding secrets with everyone's favourite, coins. To say this is a dead horse would be false. At this point, the horse is a gross mush. Give us 3D World 2 instead, please. This one may be a bit debatable. The idea seems to divide the fan base. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon takes a very different approach to Luigi's Mansion's game design, and for many, it's not an improvement. The graphics look nice, controls new in places, and the environments aren't bad. But while Luigi's Mansion has you exploring a mansion room to room, unlocking more as you go, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon deceives you into thinking a certain room is already available before locking it away and forcing you to detour to find the key. Less emphasis on exploration and more on following the path. Plus, being pushed onto the 3DS has made it mission-based and minimalistic. Collectibles are uninteresting and the rewards are flat. Ghosts have been redesigned to a more childish, toothly design, and the game has done away with the fan-favourite element of collecting portrait ghosts or using the elements to progress. Truly a shell of its predecessor and reskin onto a completely different product. And Luigi's Mansion 3 looks to have a similar visual design. Doesn't mean it's doomed by any means, but some fans may want to brace themselves this Halloween. Truly a tragedy, Chibi-Robo hasn't ever had a non-disappointing sequel. The majority of its charm and fanbase accrued from its original display back in 2005. Since then, there has been a game ripping away from exploring a giant house to a single commercial corner and field, limiting characters and completely replacing the gameplay and goal. Another sequel that stayed truer to form, but was locked away to Japan, never to be seen in English. Depleted into a 3DS gimmick game to make players use the camera functionality to fix a minimally laid out museum. And contorted into a new genre of 2D platformer in a pathetic way to money grab to do what works for every other franchise. Spitting in the face of fans and in-game characters, making Chibi-Robo an action-based fighter rather than a happiness spreader, turning AIDS into an antagonistic force rather than another friend, and blackmailing players to pay for this trash and the amiibo, or else dropping the series entirely. Only to do it anyway. Bah. Pikmin fans aren't the worst. They're simple people. They like a humble game. They want more. They wait 9 years for a good sequel. They can do that. They patiently sit for another chunk of years for the next installment. Not a problem. But grabbing the IP and switching it to yet another 2D platformer with basic difficulty, little creativity, lackluster amiibo integration, and boring mechanics? That's not very nice. And who commissioned this godforsaken bird enemy? It's the worst! The Pikmin fans are already starved of more Pikmin content. Was this really the best that could be done? This was after a 4-year gap of the last Pikmin game. What a cruel response to such a docile fandom. If it marks the halfway mark of the next installment, then Pikmin 4 is only 2 years away. 2021. That can't be too bad, right? Right? You know, this one may just be a thing for hardcore fans. Most people like Mario Kart, but a good few many didn't like Mario Kart Wii. It gave us bike mechanics and Rosalina along with a few other things, but it was casual, pushing for a more generic Wii audience. Item balance was at its worst and luck was a substantial factor in true winning success. The track design was also seen to be mediocre in most places, and it generally didn't live up to the standard of its fellow brothers in the franchise. To this day, it's often the Mario Kart game that's cast aside for something more viable and real. Online was the best bit by far, though hackers soon took charge in knocking that one down too. Thankfully, the series has moved on and ever improved, though the silence on that Mario Kart mobile game is starting to worry me. 19 years of waiting. Pikmin fans have nothing on this. For 19 years, the only solace of new content came from Smash Brothers, with a and a. Star Fox remained as one of those forgotten series left out in the cold darkness of space, until Star Fox Zero came along. Headed by Miyamoto with a fresh lick of paint, it finally took players back to the formula of Star Fox 64. A little too strongly. Playing it intensely safe with no real exploration into new territory. The game showcased a crazy control system in an attempt to hide how bland and uninteresting the game actually turned out to be, minimal and formulaic in every degree, and the bundled minigames only added to the uninspiring gimmicky pile that it was. When the IP is better handled by a completely different company, it shows that it's not the IP or its layout that's the issue. It's plain and simply the developers and their passion that leaves much to be desired, even after all these years. Am I a jaded Nintendo fan? Aren't we in like the Renaissance era of Nintendo now that the Switch is booming? Why am I still like this?
Well, maybe. Nintendo is doing all sorts of things right now. Some people hate the mobile game, some people hate the oversaturated indie library, and some people just hate Nintendo. I know!
I think you just need to be more patient for your time to come. For now, I can always turn into that time you were a Call of Duty fan. Oi! Stop noob-tubing me, you camper! Yeah, that's what your mum said to me last night. I'm gonna teabag you if you mess with me. I'll quick-scope ya!
God, we hate The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Its graphics look terrible and cartoony, and why couldn't they just give us the realistic Link we always wanted? Oh, sorry, we like this game now. Man, we hate The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I mean, what were they thinking with this dark, realistic setting? It's too grim and flat, and it's all clearly just ripping off Ocarina of Time. Oh, never mind. The worst Zelda sequel has to be Skyward Sword. I mean, look at that level design. It's all hallways and unavoidable motion controls. The fact that Nintendo thought that this was possible is just so atrocious. Not changing our minds on this one? The next sequel's okay? Alright, great. So yeah, Zelda games seem to always be the cause of a lot of heat in their early days among the fanbase. The series is always experimental and does what it can to throw off expectations. Fans have been disappointed with all kinds of Zelda games to varying degrees. Which disapprovals seem to stick around? Usually none, though Skyward Sword seems to be stuck with it the most. Despite it having one of the best stories and soundtracks, the level design will always be a big red flag for many Zelda fans. Though the disappointment usually fades, it certainly gets a lot of people riled up. Much like Mario Kart Wii, this one's just too casual. Super Smash Bros. Brawl is slow, it's floaty, it's grossly realistic, and I can't stop tripping! Another game that's often casted aside by fans for its dumbed down approach. The game simply acts as a black sheep of the series. Fun in a vacuum, but less so for competitive play. Plus, the story was something fans adored and never received again. But I think when it comes to the Smash fanbase, Sakurai can never truly satisfy everyone. Though each progressing successor has less and less complaints these days, Smash has become so big that every game will be disappointing to someone, somewhere. Is it the game's fault? Is it Sakurai's? Is it the fans? Who really knows? There's so many elements that go into Smash games that I don't think we'll ever truly get the perfect Smash game. While most of us can still enjoy them as they are, there will always be complaints. And disappointments are something the series will never be able to shake off. But at least the tripping's gone forever. Now give me another Subspace Emissary, please. We love Mario Party. 1, 2, and 3 were the stable foundation of this unique family fun battle. Mario Party 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all tried to give us something new with more characters, gimmicks, and of course so many mini-games. From the mini and mega mushrooms to capsules, a day and night sequence, mic peripherals, Wii motion controls, and then a cart? Mario Party 9 has a cart? No longer can we explore a map as an individual. Instead, we must go as a group for a less creative adventure of wits. No, how dare they? Mario Party 9 was the step out of line that so many fans were adamantly against. Mario Party has always been a 1v1v1v1 experience, and the cart was detested across the board, truly changing the formula too much for loyal fans. And the struggle continued into Mario Party 10. Not even Bowser's Formulaic Edition could help. It was a solid no from everyone. Nobody liked that. Thankfully, Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch did away with the cart. In fact, it even gave us online play, with no boards to traverse and only 10 minigames stuck on a 4-at-a-time rotor. Oh. It's not looking too grand for the Mario Party series right now. Disappointing sequels aren't just a thing for last generation. It can linger in places even to this day. But before we hit our number 1 spot, here's 5 honourable mentions. First up, Metroid Other M. Placed here mostly because it's not exactly a sequel, more of a spin-off-y design game that fits in between the series' timeline. Fans were not too happy with this game. While it may look beautiful with its crazy cutscene production quality and cinematography, the actual plot it's centered on and the characterization of Samus was something that left a bad taste in many people's mouths. It's jarring and notoriously bad because of that. Second up is Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Again, another spin-off, but fans were angry. This was a dampened down cash grab, an uninventive board game that looked nice on the Wii U but gave fans no other console alternative. Gameplay consisted of tapping the amiibo, and that's it, and watching as the game just played itself. Quality. Third is Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Not overtly Nintendo, but only appearing on Nintendo devices. The game just sucks. It's a spin-off attempting to breach a new Sonic sub-series, but it falls flat on its face for being a glitchy mess. The presentation is rushed and jagged, and it was received very negatively by critics for its camera system, controls, combat, story, dialogue, and character development. That's just about everything. Ouch. Our next honourable mention is another Metroid game. Federation Force, another spin-off and another example of fans fuming. After 6 years of waiting, fans were eager for something Metroid-y. And this wasn't it. Playing out nothing like Metroid, fans felt insulted that this was given the Metroid label and cast it away as being not really part of the Metroid series at all. And so cast away it was. And finally, for those that are a bit more cynical like me, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Being the next generation of Pokemon and a new fresh face on a console, many fans may have expected something bigger and more, but based on the first impressions of the recent Pokemon Direct, it's just more of the same. Flat, boring, and doesn't seem to push any boundaries. There is a chance they'll be introducing something crazy and new over the year, but if they don't, then I would say it's quite a disappointing sequel. Now, let's get to our final point. And so we reach number 1, with perhaps one of the biggest betrayals of a Nintendo franchise. You may be able to guess it through the process of elimination by this point. It's Paper Mario Sticker Star. With a franchise like Paper Mario, there's a lot to live up to. With the 1000-Year Door seeming to be hailed as one of the best Nintendo games ever, fans were desperate for more RPG, more partners, more story, more action commands, and more paper world exploration. And though Super Paper Mario was a bit of a disappointment due to its platformer approach, it became tolerable due to the fantastic characters and story. And Sticker Star was taking fans back to the Paper Mario design. What could possibly go wrong? Sticker Star had 3DS syndrome, watering the world down into a minimap like a generic Mario game with individual levels to explore. These levels were linear and non-explorative. Partners were gone, only replaced with the single story-based tutorial guide trope. Battles no longer gave EXP, removing any progression for Mario, and moves were obtained as a gimmick you collect with stickers. If you had no stickers, you couldn't do anything. The world diverged away from being its own unique thing and became Mario in paper, rather than Paper Mario. NPCs no longer had unique features and instead were replaced with the generic skins of Toads, and more Toads. The true enemy of the game was not some new evil character to be explored with development across the game. It was Bowser, taking Peach. Generic and watered down, this game was anything but the Paper Mario game fans had come to adore. Save the story-based RPG for Mario and Luigi, the new director says. And though Color Splash has taken steps in the right direction, it's clear that fans will have to submit to the idea that there will never be another Super Paper Mario, or 1000-Year Door, or classic Paper Mario game ever again. It has come and it has gone, and only a HD remake is in the realm of possibility. The franchise has outgrown itself and left its fans behind. Thanks guys, I do feel a little bit better.
And it's not all bad. Nintendo still has room to make some games good again.
I don't know, some of those seem pretty doomed to me, but we can always be hopeful, I guess. So, whether the latest Nintendo Direct filled you with joy or left you wanting more, whether you agree with Nintendo's plans, forwards or not, though they have made mistakes in the past, it is certain they'll be making some in the future, but despite all of that, hopefully you too can find solace in knowing that your moment will finally appear. Be it next Direct, next E3, or next year. Or never. Nintendo will always keep doing what they're doing, and hopefully you too can stick with them. We might get some disappointing sequels in the future, but there's no point not being hopeful that there won't be. That was a lot of negatives, but I think that made sense. Well, that was fun. Everyone else seems to have covered all there is to say about Mario Maker 2, or Link's Awakening, or Reggie's retirement, or probably the Pokemon Direct at this point. There's a lot of Nintendo news these days. So here's something a bit more grounded for those who didn't get what they wanted this Direct, or the Pokemon one. If you liked this, then do consider subscribing, or better yet, become a patron. You'll get access to bloopers, behind the scenes, early access ad-free versions of new videos, and any bonus content I have to surmise. With it being a new month, there'll be a big monthly blooper reel coming up soon before we make a week-by-week blooper for each individual video. So become a patron. Find me as DazzVideos on Patreon, Twitter, and Twitch. Streams are every Saturday at these times, and this week we're doing whatever just popped up now. Uploads are also going to switch up as we're going back to Fridays now that my analytics have done a full 180 on me. Now, enough of all that. Sorry for the rambling, I've also been ill so my voice is not at its best. Whatever. My name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit.